when did that kind of transition start? Because me and I have had great conversations, and you ask insightful questions. Have you always been doing that from young, that kind of curiosity, or has it evolved over time?
I think it's evolved over time. It's funny you say that. I've always thought that I've asked questions that provoke thought, right? It's very open ended. There's no answer. I'm not looking for an answer. I'm not looking for the right answer. I'm just like, I want you to think about this. But yeah, I think it's evolved over time. And, even doing the other podcasts, it's saying that, I want to start talking about some real shit. Like, I want to talk about problems. I want to talk about stories and the journey and how you became you. And, I think it's evolved. Yeah.
Your questions you ask are never, it invokes more perspective. From what I've seen, it's not, like you said, cut and dry, yes or no, or right or wrong. It's like, well, put this out there, and then it's easy to pull different perspectives from different people to get different answers. So it's interesting that transition to the front, and then now being in front of the camera, now having these conversations.
Well, I've always, like my background as well as, just being behind the camera. But then, when I had my internship in New York, I was supposed to be part of, like, I started transitioning over to journalism. And the journalism part was because I did a lot of documentaries in college, and I shot a lot of the basics of homelessness and what does the nightlife look like in the city, and did a lot of videography. But it was a story to be told about youth or the San Francisco at the time. But I feel like that in itself got me to my internship, which unfortunately, during the time when I was in New York, I got cut short because of COVID. But long story short, I was going to transition to journalism just because, and that's actually what me and Cameron, I don't know, you remember Cameron, right? Yeah, Cameron he went to school for journalism. So me and him really connected on that part, which was just trying to uncover the truth, not trying to tamper with the truth, and trying to be honest and transparent with non-bias. And so for me, my whole want in my future was just to carry a camera and capture these stories. But what I really found out was, how do you tell the story, right? What stories to be told? So I think that with what I bring to the table for journalism, or at least with what I do, is just asking questions where it's not a answer in the moment. You need to think about it. It provokes an emotion, it provokes a thought, it provokes perspective, so I mean, that's what I like to challenge, obviously. That I like to challenge the idea that I like to challenge the idea. I think that's the status quo. It just needs to be, and that's the whole. I mean, I think that's why people gravitate towards us, maybe, or just because we challenge their mindset or their thought process. So thanks, man.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, man. But thanks for coming out here, Joe, man. I appreciate you. It's always a good time speaking to you. It's always a pleasure, and I think that what better chance do I get to have you on and kind of really catch some perspective and some stories to be told. I've always said this on the podcast. It's not about where we end up, but it's who we become during the journey, and I think it's a tricky subject, but I do appreciate your friendship a lot. You definitely have challenged me to think, better, and to and you always just give me a lot of appreciation, and I don't know how to take that. I'm not saying I don't like it. I don't know how to take that, bro.
It's weird to receive. Absolutely. It's I struggle with that as well. People say you doing great or whatever, and it's like
right. Right.
I guess.
Yeah. That's the worst feeling, right? It's like everything's changing, but you feel in the same place.
Yeah.
That's like the worst feeling for me. It's like, I know my life is changing, but it's like I still feel stuck.
Is that just like the imposter syndrome within our minds, or is that more so just us not being satisfied where we're at?
What is imposter syndrome? What do you think? What does that definition sound like to you?
Imposter syndrome for me is telling myself I'm not good enough to get to do what I want, or to receive what's out there. Like going for roles and saying, hey, this person deserves it more because they've done X, Y, and Z. And so I'm not as worthy yet of it, or just any type of self-doubt in jumping out the plane,
I don't think I'll ever get there. Like, people say like, oh, you have to be better at. Is this something that you overcome, like imposter syndrome, or what do you think?
I think
it's like something that you live with. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe like grief. You just learn to grow with it, and you learn to work life around it, where it may come in moments, but being able to recognize it and say, hey, yeah, I may feel like this in the moment, but I also deserve what's coming as well. So I think for me, recognizing it and then just going through the motions and saying, hey, this is maybe just a moment and not the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, our journeys have got us to this point wasn't because our imposter syndrome, I mean, mine was there, but we still got to this point. So maybe unknowingly learning how to navigate it better, or ignoring it or blocking it out to get to this point right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's tough, man. That's such a great question to ask, man. Because like every time the word imposter syndrome comes up, or even like the thought of it, it's just like, do I have that? And that in itself is self-doubt. I don't even know. That just is a full circle. It's a vicious circle, So, but yeah, man, I think that whatever it is that I go through that I can't get myself out of. Are you a religious guy? Are you religious?
Grew up Christian.
Yeah.
Working through religion.
Yeah. I'm very open with my faith, and I think that I started saying to myself like, I can't take no losses. I can't take no L's or anything like that. Just wasn't my time, And I really try to stick with that. And so I don't know if I've overcorrected in my healing, but sometimes I need to be a little bit harder on myself, right? So if I get passed up for a role, if I don't get this opportunity, I'd be like, oh, God's got me. But then if God's got me all the time, then I really don't know. Like, there's no pressure. There's no heat, So
faith without works is dead.
Yeah. So sometimes I just feel like I'm overcorrecting a little bit sometimes with my healing and my therapy. Do you believe that's a thing where you can overcorrect your trauma, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's example would be my journey. Moving from, before I moved to San Francisco, in a place where I was in a deep valley. And then moving up here, I said, I'm not going to be in that valley again, and I'm going to do everything.
Wait, valley in your head or valley like physically, like environment?
I think both.
Oh, wow.
Mentally, I was not in a great place, and then physically, I was in a place that I was very isolated. So it was, and it was during COVID as well. So it's just very, very lonely, and I'm far away from home, just in general. So, in overcorrecting up here, it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go hard for myself and make sure that I'm doing all the things that I didn't get to do. But in doing so, I think I became a bit too selfish in that. And in the overcorrecting now, it's not backing up and finding that balance, That's what it was. So I think that sometimes we can
overcorrect. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like that, like, as much healing and as much progress as I made, I feel like, again, great call out, I feel like there's a lot more selfishness into it. And I don't know if that's to be true. There's still a lot of a lot of pages in my book, and I as scary as that might seem for people, I'm actually excited. I think like Matthew McConaughey had said this, his biggest hero is him in 5 years, and then when 5 years gets there, you're like, who's your biggest hero? I mean, you're always gonna raise the bar. You're always going to change that mindset of yourself. And I don't know, it makes me excited because just like my, I had a guest on here, her name was Karen, and she was just like, we constantly just keep evolving and changing, and we look back and we're like, I don't even memorize that. You know, I don't even know that guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, something to think about. We don't take the time to think about the journey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is it's a great part of what this podcast is. You know, just telling our story, and you know, I've always wanted to, you know, kind of tap in with you and kind of hear about yours. And so, you know, you're a very interesting man. I've always told you, you know, when I met you at the job that we won't speak of, but when we when I met you, it was yeah, instantly there was just a lot more wisdom and a lot more connection there. And so I know you're not from the Bay Area, so if you can just kind of like where are you from?
Well, first of all, appreciate you for having me on, dog. This is long overdue.
Oh, hell
we've
yeah,
had
bro.
countless conversations
Yeah,
about
man.
so many things. But originally from the Virgin Islands, big up yourself. Yeah, my journey has been interesting in that move from the Virgin Islands at 18 to North Carolina. Didn't really know anyone in the state. Nearest family was probably Atlanta, maybe,
Okay.
and more distant family. So
Yeah,
it
it's not
felt like
close.
it was boots
Yeah.
on the ground. You know, you just
Yeah,
got to
type
figure
shit,
it
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And just grinding, and I always had this mindset where I did not want to move back home unless I wanted to, not because I had to.
So you already had like a mentality. Okay. Yeah.
Because it felt like I'd failed if I'd moved back home because I
Damn.
needed to.
Okay. So who were you staying with when you were 18, coming over to North Carolina?
Went to college, got a golf scholarship, came up here.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
You actually almost was it D1, D2? Is that a thing?
D2.
D2?
Played a little
Okay,
D2 golf,
yeah.
but they paid for school. So
No,
shout
but
out.
there's division. Okay, there's divisions in golfing as well.
Yeah, so shout
Okay.
out Johnson C. Smith, but yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so played.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool, man. I did not know that.
You know, golf is one of those sports that, especially in the Caribbean, it's not too well known. But thankfully, me and golf kind of found each other, and it's done a lot in my life. It's opened so many doors that I didn't even know existed. So truly in debt to the game, and then from there it just bounced around.
Wow,
to San
man.
Francisco.
You speak like you owe it something.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what does a journey look like to even get a scholarship for golf? If you don't mind me asking, like,
Yeah.
just like you doing in tournaments, you playing
Yeah.
games. Yeah. How does that work?
I just started smiling because initially started playing golf at 12.
God, they make clubs. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Didn't even make clubs. My dad came home with a set of clubs and was
shit.
like,
All right.
here.
Okay, you playing
Okay.
mini putt at that point. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yo, he dropped me off at a practice range with a gallon jug of water and a bucket of balls, and I was just out there at 12 just having a blast.
Damn. So no traditional sense where you went through training or?
No traditional sense
Oh,
for
wow.
the initial meet, and then I came home and said I wanted lessons, and thankfully
Oh, got it.
these three guys had an avenue. That kind of the golf program on the island didn't even know the golf course existed up until that point. Yeah.
What the? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Yeah.
So-
Learning as we go. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
And then from there, it was just playing tournaments, traveling. I was on the national team, the junior national team from 13 to about 18.
Oh shit.
We played all over the Caribbean, and finally at 18, ended up visiting the school that I went to, met the golf coach, and he was like, hey, we have a scholarship for golf. Did you know? And I was like, no, I tried to apply. I tried to reach out to the coaches, and I never got any response. And God brought us together and got a scholarship on the spot
Damn.
to play golf. Yeah.
Now you believe that now in that sense, like in that moment in time, do you believe that it was the hard work or really someone got you like above the clouds? You think someone got you like that or?
I think it was somebody above the clouds. I think the work was put in, but the opportunity to be able to even cross paths with them at a time when school was closed, it's during the summer, classes are out. But for us to meet, it was like this, there's no way that this could have happened without a little bit of a nudge from a higher being. So that.
No, that's
worked out.
and then so you find yourself in North Carolina, and then you're kind of just doing the school thing, right? And then what does that look like afterwards? So you graduate, don't graduate, you graduate, and then what does that look like afterwards?
Well, during the time, I luckily started working with the Charlotte Hornets at the time.
Okay.
I was a ball boy, holding it down, and after that, I just loved it. It was one of those physical activity jobs. You're running around, you're on the bench with the players, you're in the huddle.
Right.
It's one of
Part
those,
of a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you never do the same thing twice in the day. Like, you never know what you're walking into. So did that for about 7 years. Started that while I was in college. So I was a student athlete working. So,
and being around the fellas as well too.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, and then did that open any opportunities for you being a part of the Charlotte Hornets like franchise or anything like that? Or
it did. Initially, I wanted to stay with the team, but I think just wasn't my journey, wasn't my destination. But this is where golf comes into play again, because I ended up meeting a couple of the players that played golf.
Yeah.
And ended up becoming close with them. And for a couple summers, me and them used to just go out there and practice golf, hit the range, gave some lessons, learned some lessons, and ended up just building this relationship network that ended up blossoming into something that I could never imagine. Ended up taking me all the way to LA.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Yeah. And that's where you at age wise when you hit LA? What was that timetable looking like?
That was 27.
Was that COVID? That's not during COVID, is it? Or?
Right before COVID.
Right before COVID. Okay, so
like 2019.
So you in LA, and you that's cool. And that's the first time you've been on the West Coast like that?
Well, my grandma, my mom is from San Francisco, well, Chicago by way of San Francisco.
Okay.
So my grandma lived out here, so I used to come out here during the summers when I was a kid.
Got it. So you're familiar with the city and all that stuff. Yeah.
But Los Angeles, first time.
Oh wow. Okay.
First time.
Okay. And so when you went over there to LA, so you had no one on that side. But I mean, obviously 6 hours away is San Francisco. So, do you? You're a little bit older. You're a little bit wiser. But what does that journey look like? I mean, LA is not a tough area either. It's it's not an easy place to be at. Were you trying to find yourself? Did you already know a lot about yourself at that time? Or?
I feel like I didn't know a lot about myself at that time.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I don't even know shit about myself. I was about to say that, bro.
That's a great question, because you think you only know what you don't know. I mean, you know what you don't know, how it is.
Yeah.
But at that time, I thought I was more aware. I was like, I know what I'm doing. And then
you still got the invincibility.
Fall down. I'm good. I don't need anything. But getting there, and to your point, that uncomfortableness and being in a city where you don't really know anyone, and then COVID locks it down, and then Kobe passes, and then it's just a whole whirlwind. And to be thrown in that and not have an idea of, or at least a clear North Star of what you want to do or who you really are, it's easy to get lost in general, but it's very easy to get lost in a city or a place where, for me, it fed the parts of me that I wanted to be better at. I mean, get better. So it was like, I wouldn't say feeding the addictions, but it was more so giving me, God will give you everything you want. And then once you get it, you're like, I don't want this. This is not what I imagined it to be.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for, man. For real.
Amen.
It comes with a price, man. A lot of people are not ready to answer that call.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of times where, you pray and you pray and you pray, and then you just don't know what the sacrifice comes with it, So. Sorry. But it's interesting because I myself, I've gone a lot of ups and downs and a lot of trials and tribulations. But, one thing that I do know is that, like, if I have a relationship with him, and I keep him in my prayers, and, there's a conversation, there's a dialogue to be have. You know, there's a message in everything that I do, and so that's why I don't really be taking stuff to heart anymore. But when I was younger, man, I mean, goddamn, I took that victim card. Like, I was like, man, the world hates me, and, you know, it's me against the world, and, you know, I deserve this. I felt very entitled. I felt like I seeked a lot of validation from others, and so, you know, it took a lot for me to get out of those trenches in my head, and so, you know, I do appreciate the time because, yeah, man, I mean, it's scary to think that if I never went through any of that pain, you know, that isolation, I would never be here.
Yeah.
And so, in a sense, it all made it worth it, you know. So, yeah, that's a deeper calling card, you know. But
it's easy to look at a valley when you're sitting on the mountain.
Oh yeah.
But when you in that valley,
yeah,
it's not fun at all, man.
Yeah, you got to go through it. And I don't even know if that's the rock bottom, because, you know, the valley, you know, because you know, you always heard that term, like, it always can be worse. Damn, I don't even want to know what that looks like, you know. So you're in LA, COVID hits, and yeah, it's a whirlwind. I mean, so you got time, but you met some people, you network, and so you work in school. What does that look like?
Well, with LA, I went out there with the intent to try to use the relationship that was made at the Hornets to try something new.
Yeah.
At the time, I was working with a good friend, an NBA player, just got signed with the Lakers.
Oh, nice.
And we were just same age, so me and him were both in LA just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Trying to network, trying to get sponsorships, trying to manage the lifestyle that comes with it. And we give athletes a lot of flack if they do good, or if they do bad. But and I used to do the same thing as well. Like, you get paid millions of dollars, you should be able to perform. But being able to see what goes on behind the scene and the amount of things that people deal with and have to go out there and just shoulder it and perform, the streaks, family issues, relationship, just the whole the whole overview of it is just very interesting, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things about social media, about myself, because it's nothing like seeing someone with millions of followers post something that you're all happy and joyous, and then as soon as they post it, they are right back into being miserable, upset, and it's like, wow,
So you got to see that.
Yeah, you see it, and it's like, yo, you're really just doing it for the gram.
Yeah, that's a superficial type shit.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I say this right now, but, you know, I gravitate towards it. But my whole thing was photography, telling stories, being able to share that, you know, that kind of cycles back to social media. And I think social media is a drug and social media is poison. But also, in a sense, social media is I gravitate towards it for some reason. And, you know, I know in myself, there's no way to kind of cut that off. But all I can do is understand who I am when I try to post these things or try to tell these stories. But yeah, man, so you got to see that. You got to see that. You got to firsthand. Now, COVID was a weird time, you know. What does the sports industry look like? Like, were you playing ball? Were you kind of masked up? Were you kind of like playing against with the rules or what? Man, if you don't mind me asking, man.
No, we were in the house getting COVID cuts. Barber pulled up in a hazmat suit.
Oh shit! All right. Yeah.
But they were in the bubble at the time, so.
Where was that at?
I was in Florida, I think Orlando.
Yeah.
So once they isolated, it was just in the house. Didn't really want to meet people because you don't want to put
people in harm's way.
Exactly. So it was just me and a German Shepherd in the house for 6 months, just
man.
Trying to figure it out. And the thing that was really tough for me is that it was perspective. I'll come back to is it's tough to complain about it if you're being told, hey, you're so lucky you're doing this, you're living out there in LA, but then they don't understand again what's going on behind the scenes, where you're going through these valleys and you're going through this depression, or you're going through these moments where it's like you feel I felt very, very, very alone, and I couldn't really tell people like, hey, this is how I feel, because they're constantly they didn't know, so they're saying, hey, you're lucky, and it's like,
I mean, even that during that time is like, it's kind of like a measuring stick. It's like, oh, my hardship is harder than your hardship, and it's like I'm going through more stuff than you are going through, and it's like, why does it have to be a competition? I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time, and for me, every time I say like, COVID, is what it is, and it unfortunately derailed me from where I was supposed to be at. I feel like, put your fucking story in a hat and pick it out, But yeah, man, your story is important, right? So you had 6 months and it was hard, right? I mean, at this time you're living by yourself, or living yourself. And it's hard not to be around people. So like for me, I was in New York, and then I had to break my lease. I came back over here, and I was surrounded by people that like, was familiar to me. So, I don't have the same perspective or journey that you had. So, damn, that's 6 months and you weren't able to express to people. Now, at that time, were you looking for any sort of connection with anybody? Like, were you playing little video games? Were you at least playing golf at the time? Like, that's a pretty isolating sport as well.
Yeah, I wasn't doing anything. I was on the video game, but I felt very shallow. And a lot of the connections that were made were shallow.
So that was a lot of negativity that was coming in and out of your life.
Yeah, it was it was survival mode. But leaning into it more, moving to the States at 18, it was like, all right, it's survival mode. But in North Carolina, I had people I went to college with. So it was more like, all right, I know people that I've hung around with long enough that I can confide in, versus when you're just really isolated and it's really survival mode. It's like, all right, well, how do you get through the day? How do you make sure that you're showing up for the work and the people that need you, but at the same time, at what cost for myself? So it was just it felt very fake. It felt very... Because
you didn't know what to believe, or what do you think?
Well, I didn't also know myself, so I was also trying to even figure out what are these feelings? Why am I feeling this? And then instead of diving into it, I began to self-medicate. And I began to go dive deeper. Like, never smoked weed up until then. And then I smoked once. It would be like, all right, I'm going to smoke every other day. And it was every day. And then it was like every day.
So until that moment, you had no temptations or outside noise trying to influence you to do... I don't even know if that's bad stuff. At this point, it's all about, perspective on that side too. But did you growing up, you never had any outside noise or any temptations on that side?
I did, but I think the beautiful thing, I had golf to buffer it. Like, if I ever felt like I was getting off my square, I'd be like, all right, let me go to the golf course and hit some balls, because it's
realign yourself. Okay, I like that.
It's a quiet sport. It's just you and a ball, and you got 4 hours to think. And
I'm telling you, man, when you talk about golf, it seems like there's more of a, like, I don't want to say love letter, but there's more of a deeper meaning to it. Like the way that the love of the game, the love of the perspective that you bring towards golf. It sounds like you owe it something. I mean, you owe it something, or
absolutely,
it's a big part of your life. So, I think that with those things, we always kind of gravitate towards it. Like for me, I've always been a part of projects and videos and just artistic stuff where it's forms of expression. And when I don't feel like I've expressed myself in storytelling or photos and videos, then I feel kind of lost. And I get excited when I do have a project like this, just kind of bring this back up. It's like, like I'm excited to, meet with the next person and tell this story, trying to align with them with, mental health and just share a moment, and those are the moments, those are the things I live for. It's just sharing a moment with somebody and really appreciating their time. It's
a fulfilling addiction. Not in the sense
Yeah,
that
it
it's
can be worse.
negative, but
Yeah.
that the feeling of doing something that you enjoy, that's gonna bring some good into the world, or at least some good to you that you know is quality versus short term satisfaction versus that long term happiness. Golf, to me, I know I've built that credit with golf, and it's built it with me to the point that if anything ever happens, I know I can just go to the range.
Oh, wow.
And it helps me kind of clear through that mental fog.
Wow.
And golf is my therapy.
Yeah.
Golf is just, it's my safe space. And during that time in LA, I didn't play golf at all, maybe one time.
Oh, okay.
That's a year in LA, so you could imagine.
Oh, just 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
That's all you need for those who
Yeah.
able to hang out in LA.
Yeah,
Y'all got it.
a lot of trauma being built on that side. So 1 year in LA brought you all the way to San Francisco afterwards? After you felt like there was nothing really, like no wheels were turning in LA?
Yeah, I felt like the job I was doing wasn't long term, and maybe it's on me as well for not really maximizing the opportunity. Because you have to eat the blame, because it's every situation that you've been a part of. That's the one common denominator. I think someone said that.
Wait, say that again. That was really good.
Well, in every situation that you've been in, whether good or bad, the one common denominator is you, me. So we have to be able to be accountable for our part that we played in that.
Yeah.
So even if, whether it's small or big.
Yeah.
And I take LA as me not maximizing the opportunities, but also understanding, because the way I left was like, if I quit my job on Tuesday, I left Thursday or Friday. It was that quick. Broke the lease, got a U-Haul, dipped.
There was no attachment to LA.
I was ready. I was just ready.
Wow.
It didn't feel. It got to the point where it was either I sit there and continue to feel this way, or I'd make a change. I'd jump out that plane, move up to San Francisco with no plan, and just figure it out and try to get some type of clarity in what's been going on in life up until that point. Because do you feel like you have been intentional with your life the entire time? Or what does intentionality look like for you now? And how did it look like, I guess, growing up?
Have I always been intentional in my life? Not really. You know, I mean, I've always said this, and I'll say it again, you know, the best decisions are when when my back's against a corner. You know, you don't really know a man or know a person until they have had to make hard decisions. And so, you haven't watched any of the other podcasts, but basically I talked about my journey with my friend Annette, and I was telling him that, you know, when my dad passed, or not my dad passed, but my dad moved on with another family, he left me at 17, 16. And so I was kind of, you know, by the official terms, I was homeless, right? So I got a lot of uncles and a lot of, you know, I got some friends and family. So I was basically just kind of couch to couch, you know, just kind of trying to get through high school. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I had to graduate, right? That was my only path that my dad told me to do. And so I graduated, and, you know, I was living couch to couch, and, you know, my mom was in and out of my life. And when I decided to leave that place because of the toxic household that she had created, I found myself at my best friend's house, Victor's house, and there wasn't a lot going on. You know, I was going to Skyline College. I was scamming FAFSA for the money, and I was probably 18, 19. I was like, I'm going to join the military. So I think that was the first time I really got intentional with my life, and there was nothing to fall back on. You know, I'm not going to go back to the couch. And so when I had that opportunity to join the military and start doing stuff for myself, I started moving a little bit different. I started asking the right questions, started learning about the right things. But time will only tell. And apparently not apparently, but my life in the military had its exit, and so I exit out, and from there, I went to college, and I guess that's really the intentionality of it was just to make sure I had the next step planned out, but not really knowing what would lie on the other side. Because I mean, even when I went to college and I graduated during COVID, I thought I was gonna be in New York. I thought I was gonna travel and just keep it going, and there's a love in my heart that just you don't know what's gonna happen. It's always spontaneous, but I don't know. I don't even know if that answers your question, but basically it's just from that point, since I joined the military, it's all been intentionally trying to survive.
Yeah.
But it's it's scary to think because I can't even see that far in the future.
Do you think is that something that we grow out of, or is that just going to be inherently the intentionality to survive?
Yeah,
We'll ever get to that point, but like, you know what? We're done surviving.
That's actually funny, man. That was one of the things that I hate hearing from my family, but I understand it now. The more I grow up, was my dad or my family, when they migrated over from the Philippines, my dad, my uncle, my auntie, and my other uncle, they're all orphans.
Wow.
So they just got abandoned. But it was the four of them came over to the States. They got I don't want to say represented, but they got something where they got brought over here, whatever. But they had a time, just coming to America, not knowing any English, but then they survived. And my dad had he was a black sheep of the family. He's always had this mentality of I gotta survive. So he's always looking for the next thing to do, always trying to find, trying to squeeze a dollar out of a dime, or dime out of a dollar, whatever. And then I started inheriting that. I only knew how to survive. I only knew how to pick up my stuff and go. Before I left for the military, I only had 2 bags, and I'll show you, but I only had 2 bags under my name: a blue bag, a Daikin blue bag, and a Jansport gray bag. And people knew me at school because I had my clothes in that bag and my school stuff. So I really had all the stuff that I loved on my back. And I went to school. I graduated. I slept on people's couches, on people's floors, just to graduate, because that's all my dad wanted me to do, was graduate, because he never graduated. And so do we ever get out of that? I don't know, man, because every time I feel like something doesn't go my way, I feel like I gotta get through this. I gotta survive. But it's like I'm not in that place anymore. So I don't know. Hopefully I do grow out of that.
So it sounds like it was kind of trickled down through
generational trauma. Yeah, probably. Because I just saw my dad survive. He just, the fondest memory of for me was, I was living in Daly City. Shout out to Shipley Avenue, but a lot of my boys would come through, but it didn't have a lot. It had a bed, it had a couch, TV, but it was an empty shell. But it was me and my dad's spot. But we didn't have we didn't have money for furniture, and so I remember this one time my dad was, came back from work, and I was with my ex a long time ago. But, it was just, stealing. That was just kind of like, it was, not okay, but it was like.
Surviving.
Yeah, surviving. So we went to Manila Oriental out there in Daly City, and we would go all the way in the back. We would pick out a catfish, and then we'd ask them to fry it. And then they put it in a bag, whatever, and then we would just walk out the door. And, we'd run and back to the house. And my dad, he would make rice, trying to open up some can, make something for dinner. But I would bring it and I would be like, I got catfish. He wasn't surprised because he just knew that I had that in me. Because he related. He's like, I used to do the same thing when I was younger. Mm-hmm. So we normalized that. We was just like, there was no, don't do that again. That's bad. It's like, we got to do what we got to do to survive. Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt like, there's a lot of negatives, there's screwing people over. There's some cheating, there's some, there's just a lot of negative things where it's just like, I did it to survive.
Yeah.
But then that becomes speak. That's not correct. So, yeah, I hope that I get to walk away from that mentality, man.
Well, being a pops,
yeah,
and you breaking generational curses, just being able to be present, and provide.
Yeah.
Like, what does breaking those generational curses look like? What type of, being that, I want to say father's bad, pops left. Yeah. Now moving into the space, now you are now in that role. What does that look like for you, since you're kind of going off of, I don't want to say a shaky foundation, but a foundation that knowing the person that you are and the type of man that you are, doesn't sound like you want to do the same thing or do it a different way.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. For me, when I was growing up, I didn't like my dad. I always tried to. He was a black sheep. My family members always talked down on him, So I was like, I don't want to be like that, My dad wasn't good with money, It's just stuff. Chose the wrong woman, whatever. When I was steady growing up, I realized that my mom, she was actually the person that I should have been trying to run away from. Wow. But because she was more of an alcoholic, she smoked. She just had very negative, very vindictive, very narcissistic, and so I didn't know who to put the blame on, right? And I think that's a big part of it. It's just like I didn't know who to put the blame on. Why am I like this? And again, I was going through this whole victim, mentality. Like, man, the world owes me something. Finding validation. Oh, I'm good enough for you. Choose me type shit. And that's a lot of heartbreak, man. It's a lot of heartbreak. And so
a lot of overthinking too.
Yeah, a lot of overthinking. A lot of just a lot of hurt, man. So, but what the steps I've done, is when I found out that Van was pregnant, it wasn't the call to, am I going to be there? I'm going to be there. I told Van, we weren't married at the time, and I told Van, I was like, you leave me to, I'm here. Like I'm going to stay with the baby, because I only know that. Like my whole life, I've always just wanted to be a father. Like I only, if I ever got the chance, I would be like, I do it right. That's the whole thing, right? And God has, gratefully, given me the opportunity. So, I wasn't scared about having the baby. I think I was more scared of just who I was going to, like what version of myself the baby was going to see.
Wow. And
so I did a lot of therapy. I dug deep into the holes that I was trying to fill with materials, and just kind of like just stopping the self-sabotage kind of stuff. And so I healed, I went through a lot to be this version of who I am. And so I put in the work, and again, I gotta be more nice to myself, be like, I put in the work. And so I'm not gonna say I'm perfect. I'm not gonna say I'm there, because damn, I got a lot to learn as well. But I will say that when I look back, I don't even know who that guy was, because all the pain, right, that I had to endure, man, it was all worth it. So what I did, right? So what I did before during COVID, not during COVID, before COVID, I actually was in therapy, and I cut off my mom. I had a big separation from her. It was that was advice that I got from my therapist. I didn't talk to her for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, because I started reconnecting with her in 2024 when MJ was born. Let her into my life, and then I saw some patterns again that I could not be okay with, and so I cut her off again. So I'm not speaking to my mom. Another thing that I'm going through right now is I cut off my auntie, which she's the only, it's the auntie that I was talking about, but she she's just a big part of a lot of why our family's not together. And I've said my piece. There's always gonna be love for my mom and my auntie, but being part of my life, I've created boundaries and set rules where if I cross them, then, you know, I'm back to square one, you know. And yeah, man, you know, me and my dad, we you know, he has another family, and you know, we chirp here and there, but there's he understand. We've had conversations at Ocean Beach where, you know, we're both smoking cigarettes, and you know, I told him, I was like, this, you know, you've caused me a lot of pain, and he understands the pain, and he understands why, you know, he can't see MJ, you know. That's crazy to say that because I've never actually said that out loud before, but we have an unspoken thing where it's like he knows the pain and he knows what he brings, and he knows that he's not allowed to bring that around my daughter, and we just know, you know, if I say, oh, we can't make it, and he knows why, you know, and it's scary, man. But to answer your question, man, to go back to it, you know, I really try to really protect my circle, get my circle right. And really try to, you know, change my mentality. You know, it's one thing to change the environment, but if you bring the mentality to a different environment, you're still, you know, imprisoned. And so, yeah, I really had to go to therapy. I really had to lock in. I really had to be this version of myself. And you know, some parts of my old, you know, the old me, old Romel, whatever, still comes out a little bit. You've seen that. You've seen that a little bit, yeah, yeah, a little bit. But yeah, man.
It's few and far between.
Yeah, man.
It's few and far between. So I guess that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of that's a lot of weight to have to two parents that you grew up with and then have to.
Oh, my mom's dead when I was 4, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So no, and besides, and then she came in my life and stuff like that. It's just like she's always been in and out of my life, and that's why I don't want to say I got no pity, but I got no.
So what does healthy love look like? Being a healthy parent to you? Because if it's like two people that came together that brought you in this world that you didn't choose to be,
yeah,
and you have to be throwing all of these curveballs,
yeah,
time after time after time, where do you get your semblance of a healthy household or a healthy relationship or a good dad or the man that you are working to be? What's your North Star? Do you have a guiding point to get you to kind of that?
That's a great question, man. I really don't have any. Wow, that's a great question. I don't really have any people that I'd be looking up to like that, you know? I just know what it takes to be a good man. I know what it takes to be a bad man. And yeah, man, my whole life I just been doing a lot of running. I've been doing a lot of running, man. So, you know, I'm okay with taking those punches now. You know, it's hard to admit, but you know, I've done the cheating, I've done the scamming, I've done the hurt. You know, I've done the hurt, and I'm okay to admit that. And you know, I know that time will heal all and all that stuff, but I'm in a better place, man. I know that's such a crazy thing to say. You know, people that know me, they know that I caused them a lot of pain, but yeah, man, I've gone through it. I've hit my rock bottom. I've gone through it mentally, physically, literally, man. I've been through it. So what does a healthy love relationship look like? It really started to, you know, the clouds started to dissipate really when I met Van, you know. It really meant, you know, slow it down. Really think about your words with intention. Just really know how to love, right? Because, I mean, she doesn't have a perfect family either. And I didn't have a perfect family, and I think we reconnected with that. And I think that it's just like, I don't want to say the bare minimum. The bare minimum is love. That's the bare minimum. That's the easiest thing. It's just loving each other. Loving, you know, our daughter, you know. A healthy relationship is just communicating. Yeah. And, you know, we over-communicate because we didn't get to communicate when we were younger. And, you know, we need that reassurance. And, you know, it might be toxic to some people to over-explain or to ask for the why, but it works for us, you know. And Van is such a great partner where she doesn't question, but she trusts. And she's and I trust, and I'm able to be vulnerable, and she is too. But we handle things on the spot because we don't like to let the thoughts brew. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know, giving some time to breathe, but we handle it in the moment. And you know, love is the idea that there's no winner or loser. You know, love is it. You know, love is if in a way, bro. Look, we're not gonna get too crazy with it, but
yeah,
love is the idea that it can all be taken away, and it is gonna be taken away. But loving you with all my heart, damn, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Loving you with all my heart, bro, is the idea is that like it'll be all worth it, you know. But you're okay with it being taken away. So that's what love is, you know. I love I love her. I love MJ with all my heart, but I know it's gonna be taken away. I'm okay with the heartbreak
because you're here right now in the moment, and you get to feel.
Yeah, and it's all worth it, bro. So yeah, giving that all. That's what a healthy love or looks like for me. It's like you're okay with the heartbreak because it was all worth it, bro.
Have you experienced love before prior to?
Yeah, I have, man.
There's levels to love.
Yeah, I have, bro.
There's so many levels to it.
Yeah, man. There's I've loved before, and yeah, you know, there's demons that got the best of me, and I take full accountability of my past, and I know there's some people out there that just have that one image of me, and that's okay. And that's okay. I'm not here to say give you the why. There's no need to argue.
Yeah.
But that's okay, man. I mean, you lose a lot of friends because I cannot believe you do something like that. I don't know why you thought I was, you know, perfect. I don't know why you thought I wasn't capable. But I will say this, man. I enjoy a person that has gone through it way more than someone's played it safe. That tells me a lot about their personality. That tells me a lot about who they are. They're out there trying to experience the hurt, the love, the pain, the grief, the experience, because
that's living.
That's living.
That's just life.
Yeah, I appreciate a person that just living more, man.
That's just life. Man.
Yeah. So it's yeah, man. If all the pain was worth it, bro.
See, that's so interesting because my relationship with love is evolving. Like they say, relationships is it's a mirror. You end up seeing everything that you need to work on, or it brings out your own demon because you're working with someone else, like a partnership. And where you fall short, you get to see it in real time. And love is someone that's sticking with you in the sense that you want to do better for yourself, but also because you care for them. Now, that's what they say. My relationship with love, I grew up in a family where we were a functional family.
Love that.
But we didn't grow up saying I love you or hugs and stuff like that.
But you guys were cohesive. Yeah. You guys worked well. Okay.
We were being on an island, my mom from the States, I didn't have a big connection with my cousins. And on the island, all my other cousins were either too young or gone. So it was more of that nuclear family. And I always associated love with responsibility. Like, because I love you, I'm going to make sure that you walk on the inside of the street. Or if you need $19 and I got 20, I'm going to give you 20. And I'll figure out how to get this 20 back. But when it comes to the expressive side, the deeper emotions, I'm still struggling to understand that part. It's still very foreign. Like,
now, when you have the conversation about love, when people like, do you ever ask for yourself for not feedback, but like, you know, like, not how I was, that's kind of crazy too, but like, you know, just, has anyone told you how you love them? Have you ever gotten that conversation? Have you ever had that conversation? You love too hard. You love too less. You didn't love enough.
I think the feedback I was given was sometimes you're just not emotional. Like I think sometimes I'm too laid back, so I'm like, hey, if it comes, it goes. That's life, you know.
What do you think that stems from?
I think that stems from growing up. I think I've always been more of the solo person growing up, just moving around, getting to where I need to be.
Yeah.
And in doing so, if someone said, hey, they're going to come, you know, give you a ride, and then they don't come, that disappointment or whatnot, just me not expecting too much of life and expecting too much of others. Like, I take it at face value. If someone say, oh, you coming and they don't come, I'm like, all right, it is what it is. I'm going to still try to figure out what I got to do. So in that, when it comes to a relationship, I think maybe I don't want to say I give more than receive, because I've been in a relationship where they definitely have poured into me, but I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
No, and that's
I don't know if I
don't want to say if you lack, like, I don't want to say you lack empathy or anything like that, but you just, it seems to me like you, and I'm not your therapist, but I mean, it just seems like, no matter what, you got you.
Yeah.
You've always got you. And I think, right, I mean, like when I was going through the military, college, blah, 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 I've always, and that's probably another, chapter in my heart, is just like, how do I deal with being alone? Like maybe I've never been alone, but yeah, you just, what it seems like is just it. Yeah, you've I don't know how to say it without sounding fucking like an asshole or anything like that, but it just sounds like you've never.
I don't trust.
You never trust or been vulnerable or submitted. I don't know if it's submitted maybe, but like, yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah. You never submitted to like, oh, like, I need this person. When was the last time you needed a, Yeah, I guess that's a better question. Yeah. But that's how I wanted to frame it. It was just like, the way that you speak is like, yeah, I've always got me, or God's got me, or something like that. But it's like, yeah, man, like, when's the last time you submitted? Because when I met Van, like, I was down in the dumps. I was hit rock bottom. I needed a partner more than I needed a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I needed a partner. I needed someone to ride with me. But also I needed, I didn't need a girlfriend. I didn't need someone to emotionally take me. I needed someone to figure this out with me, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I was vulnerable with her. I trusted her. We, as a partnership, we blossomed to something else. Because we skipped that boyfriend stage. We just went straight into it, like, yeah.
But you forget together forever.
Yes. Right. But that's what I'm saying. People are like, oh, have you guys lived like 8-10 years? Like, I've only known Shawty for like 3 years, bro. Like, and so it's stuff like that where it's like, when's the last time when is the last time you submitted, or when's the last time you've been vulnerable for somebody? Because I don't get that feeling from you, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, honestly, no, that's valid. I think that just ties into surviving. And for me, I leaned more so because I didn't have that, or I didn't seek that community with family in the States, or even trust. The people that I came around when I first moved up, or even prior, I think that I just kind of dug deeper into myself. And in doing so, it was more like, my mind's silent. It was like, people come, people go, but I just got to make sure that I'm figuring out what I need to do to get things going. So to answer your question, not recently. I think that I'm trying to trust more and open up more and show, feel. I don't want to sound like a crazy person, but like, I do feel, but I think that because it's such a gate between myself and others at times, that it's tougher to invite people in. Yeah. But that's also in understanding yourself, because that's also a part of me that I'm still trying to open the doors within myself. Yeah. To process and understand why it's like that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're stoic? You got a lot of pride, honor?
That's some feedback I got a while back.
Yeah.
About being pride, and I think it's just because you get so used to just trying to figure it out on your own. It's like I got it, but in reality, it's like you really don't.
And that's you know what, bro? That's actually the most beautiful part about this podcast is that. And again, I'm not here to say yes or no, but the whole reason why I made this podcast is because we don't get to talk about that. Mm-hmm. We don't get to talk about being stoic and pride. We don't get to talk about the weight that we carry, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the whole reason why I made this podcast was for us to voice it. And what you make me feel like, I feel like I'm talking to my uncle. My uncle carry everything. My uncles carry everything. They're stoic. They have a lot of pride. They're like, yo, I got it. Don't need to explain nothing to nobody.
But that's just.
That's how you grow. But that's another source of love, though. That's another way of love.
Yeah, but pride cometh before the fall, man. And I gotta kill with pride because pride can stop you from stepping through so many rooms. Yeah,
it'll bring it to your knees, man. Yeah.
And it's tough.
I'm not here to label you. I'm just saying I'm just here to say that, if anything, this might be, a thought that for another day. But it's like. Yeah, man. For my want for you is just to, wow, man. Like I never had anybody really call me out and be like, yo, I don't know when the last time I needed somebody,
Yeah.
And maybe that's a beautiful thing. I don't know, but I submitted, bro. I submitted to my faith. I submitted to Van. I just like trust that God's got me, and maybe, what if, what if it all works out? What if? What if it all works out? And so, I really had to trust the process. And so, for me, and I don't want to say I dislike it, but when I hear my dad carrying the weight, I hear my uncles carrying the weight, it hurts. I mean, I don't know if you wear any masks, but you definitely wear a good, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Yeah.
It do.
Yeah.
It do. It's and that's where being aware of it is definitely that pride thing. I've been checking myself, just asking for help.
Yeah.
Even that is like
it hurts to do.
It's just uncomfortable to be like.
I know, bro. I can feel that from you, dude.
And it's like because it can go one or two ways where it works and it's like, all right, this is a great thing, or it doesn't work and it's like this just kind of reinforces why, and that's the thing, is to continue trying. That's the one thing that.
You think it's a black and white? You think everything's black and white, dog?
No, I think there's always some gray area, but I think that objectively there's always gray area. But for me, when it comes to certain things, it's a bit tougher. I think just because past things experienced, etc. But it's one thing to see it, it's another thing to try to change it. And that's something that, in recognizing that I do have pride and I struggle with trying to be open. And because for a long time it was more so people pleasing. I was bullied for growing up quite a bit. Just because, you're not having the newest shoes or, Shaqs with his things, but you got your friends wearing Air Forces and they looking at your shoes like, what the heck? And then not really being more socially awkward. It was tough making friends from young till about 8th grade. And then going to the other end, like, hey, I want to overcorrect and I want to make sure that I have friends or people that want to be around me. So then it turns into like people pleasing, saying yes when you really don't want to do it, or just trying to have that pick me, like you said.
Wow.
So in transitioning over to that, now you overcorrect and it puts me in situations where it's like, now if you speak up, so and that's what LA brought me to my knees. It was like, yo, you need to figure out your shit. You need to really, this is not healthy. This is not sustainable. At some point, how far are you willing to stay on this track until something happens or you can't course correct?
Right.
So
100%.
moving up here has been helping and trying to like reshape it. And it's still a struggle because sometimes, I mean, just mass is going to be there. Like just being black and brown in America, code switching and whatnot, and trying to navigate that is already a mask. But to be true, authentic self and not give a fuck about how it's perceived, that scares me.
It's truly freeing, bro. It's a freedom that I want to tap into, you know, because as many times as I do this podcast, as many guests, I speak my truth and I speak my piece. I'm an inch there, you know, from being free from I don't want to say shackles, but more of like what's holding me back, you know. As much as that this is a relieving for you and for my guests, is for me, you know. We need that expression. We need to let it out. And yeah, man, you've always interested me as a human being that kind of, you know, moves differently. And so I've always appreciated that, and I've always wanted to hear your story. I think the one thing that scares me is that, you know, for how long? You know, I think that you even asked me how long can we be, you know, surviving for? For how long can we not trust anybody? For how long? And I don't want to say everyone has their limits, but I don't want to get there, you know, like we can't course correct. So if we get to that point, can we course correct? And, you know, I don't, if I see a human being, if I see one of my friends that just is okay with life, that tells me a lot more too, you know. We got to seek those uncomfortable moments in our life. We got to seek those new challenges because that's where the growth happens.
Absolutely.
And I believe that, and that can come with physical, emotional, even with conversation. You know, if you're listening to this podcast and you feel like you don't disagree and you don't want to listen more because it's invoking an emotion, that's it. That's literally it. That's the uncomfortableness we're talking about. You're not trying to gain perspective. You're not trying to understand or find the context or why. Yeah, man. Seek to understand, man.
Yeah.
You know, don't judge. Just seek to understand. So, no, man. I think, man, you know, the problem with this is that there's not enough time. There's not enough time, bro. And I know that it's gonna every time that I leave, you know, the podcast or we leave the podcast, it's when's the next one? And, you know, I do hope that you do come for the next one. I got some big plans. Hopefully, you know, it's a little bit closer, but yeah, man, I do want you back on and, you know, kind of shed some light and, you know, depending on what 2026 looks like, you know, I'm really manifesting good stuff for us. What is before we kind of wrap it up, what does 2026 look like for you?
2026. Well, the goal for 2025. I want to cry this year. I haven't cried in 10 years. 10 plus years.
Dog, I was about to cry in front of you right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, get it out. But for me, I'm like,
okay.
But
what makes you cry, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I think for me,
damn,
I don't know. I'm
gonna cry, dog. I'm gonna cry. You know, seeing men, strong men. No homo shit, but it's like some strong, real, genuine men cry over not seeing, you know, family members for a long time, kids, loved ones. Just seeing strong men break me down, bro. And even being vulnerable breaks me down. So,
they say tears are the words the heart can't speak.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I get all choked up, shit, man.
But yeah, man, I think that's the goal. I feel like that's one of the big steps in unlocking a lot of things. I've been close. It's been close. It's just still overthinking
you
it
feel
once
like
I get close.
Tear ducts are all fucked up or what, dude? Like, what's up, man? Like, you can feel it. You can feel the urge to cry, but you just don't cry.
I think it's a foreign feeling.
I'll cry in front of you right now, bro. I'll do.
And I'm gonna just be like,
yeah.
But it's just.
But it makes you uncomfortable too, right? Seeing people cry.
Not uncomfortable. It's just like more of a wanting. Like, dang, I wonder what that feels like.
Oh, damn!
Or like,
I didn't even think about that.
It's like, man, because
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
It's such a clear, like after the rain falls, the world looks cleaner. Even downtown San Francisco, after the rainfall, it just starts fresh.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I feel like that's a lot of that would clear up, or at least get a lot of things out of me. Just a good, solid, long, ugly cry, you know?
I didn't even think about that.
But that's kind of what I want. And that's what I've been trying to do for a while, for about last 6 months. It's just trying to
invoke some emotion.
Watch sad things, but that's not it. It's just whenever I'm used to get like super faded and just let it, and then look in the mirror and just have a conversation with myself. Like, man, you here, you figuring it out. What are you feeling right now? And diving into it. And it's getting easier and easier every single time. Like I'm getting further and further to that point where I'm like, okay, it's going to happen this time. And then it doesn't, like, okay, that's fine. But let's keep trying and keep trying. Holy shit, that's something. I feel like once that happens, and when that happens, that's going to bring up, that's going to get a whole lot of everything out. And just feel like that's going to
You're going to be crying for days.
I hope so. I hope
you're
I cry.
You're going to be crying. I'm going to start crying. I'll be like, oh, Joe's crying.
I hope I have an IV hooked up and I'm
you're going to be dehydrated from crying. Bro.
You good, Joe? I'm like, yeah.
No, that's a beautiful thing, man. Honestly, man, that's a great answer. I didn't even, to not be tapped in or emotionally attached to that part of you.
Yeah.
That I don't want to say it hurts my heart, but that's a real ass thing, bro. I didn't even know. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's survival mode, man. You put your head down, and sadly, when you trying to survive.
But how long though, bro?
I'm trying not to survive anymore, bro. But when when your back is against the wall, like sometimes I wonder why. I wonder if it's because I didn't have, cousins growing up, or it's because I've been in the States so long trying to focus on not going back home that everything else has kind of fall apart, whether it's relationships, whether it's feelings of being disappointed. It's like, all right, well, we can't dwell on this because tomorrow's still coming and we got to get this check, or we got to make sure that we got food. And like for 3 years, bro, I slept on a beanbag. I had a beanbag. They couldn't even get a bed, just trying to grind, working 2 jobs, no car, walking 2 miles to the bus stop, 2 miles back, having to, bro. So,
and some people can't relate. Some people can't relate, and so,
but
man,
you do, and that's why I think that I rock with you, because under all of that, like, you have depth, and you've been through that, and your questions aren't just here. Your questions are always like, all right, well, your story is just as interesting as the next person. And I think that's why, for me to you, that's why I connect with you, because you've been through the fire. You've been on couches. You had to go through the work. You've had fallen. You've picked yourself back up, fallen again, went through the lows. And to see where you're at right now, I know you just awkward, but to see where you're at right now after when I met you, that's the beautiful thing of this. The fact that you have climbed and you've done the work to now be able to sit in your studio and to have a podcast after we've had these at our last gig, man, is a beautiful thing. And I'm proud of you, dog. You doing it.
Yeah.
And this gives me hope. Like, you know what? I would love to be 2 houses down doing something like this, but it requires the work. So if anything, this conversation is letting me know, like, hey, it's possible because it's been done.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But you just gotta do the work.
Yeah,
just doing the work.
And man, there's I'll leave with this last tidbit, man. It's yesterday, I don't know if you were at work yesterday, but we lost a real one. I believe we lost a real one. And so
100%.
He was my mentor, and we started saying these things that now resonates me. I said it a couple of days, I said it in the last 24 hours a couple of times, but I don't want it to be the tagline, but there are no easy days, man. There are no easy days, man. So hopefully we can learn and grow with it. But there are no easy days, bro. It's just gonna get harder and harder, and that comes with growth and comes with a lot. Mm-hmm. But you know, the more that you can attest or maybe be okay with that fact, I don't know. There's gonna be some value in between. I don't know. There's gonna be some results in that. Yeah. So I'm still trying to navigate that right there. But that was the last thing I said to him while he exited the building. It was like, "There's no easy days," and I do believe that, and that's gonna stick with me, man. And yeah, man. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited for, you know, things that to bring a new life.
Yeah.
New accomplishments.
Yeah.
2020. But yeah, I'm praying for, you know, good health, and you know, just kind of making peace with yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that that's a big one. A lot of people don't ask for guidance. A lot of times people ask for the answer, and sometimes you just need the strength to, or you know, just have guidance. Mm-hmm. Take a second and to try to find the blessings in everything. Yeah. So, always a good time to have you here, man. I know that. Sir. I know I want to keep going, dude. Gotta be respectful of the time. I know, dude. And we're gonna get you out of here, and
we're gonna run it back.
We're gonna run it back, bro. Yeah. And there's gonna be a lot more moves, and hopefully things are gonna be a little bit changed next year. But for sure, this is gonna be something. This can be. That's all I got, man. Yeah. That's all I got. Nothing but heart, but that's all I got to give, bro. Yeah. So, shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to us.
Shout out to us, man.
2026 is gonna be what we make it.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Let's make it what we want it to.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Thank you for being here, Doug.
Thanks for the
hell yeah, bro. Let's go. I'm gonna cut.